What's up, Multiverse? Dr. Dave here. Welcome to the Geek Lounge. So is this the end of Naruto Kayou for overseas collectors? Alright guys, welcome back to another Naruto Kayou video here on the channel. Just before we get into today's topic, I did want to say we are still going to be unboxing some cards later on today in a few hours. In fact, I have another Heaven and Earth scroll box that we will be getting into, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But I wanted to do this video beforehand to address and discuss the rumours of the future availability of Naruto and Kayou products in general outside of mainland China. So earlier this week, there were a number of social media posts going around asking if anyone had noticed that Anime Card Store had removed Naruto Kayou products from their store. They're one of the most popular stores on AliExpress for overseas Naruto Kayou collectors. And of course, if you check their site now, there is no Naruto Kayou products on there, and a lot of people said they weren't the only store to do this. A rumour then started floating around that Bandai, who actually hold the license for Naruto TCG in the US, I think they actually hold it in most of the West as well, to be perfectly honest, had actually complained, assumably to Pierrot Studio, that a lot of foreign cards were actually flooding the market, Kayou being one of them, which is only licensed to be sold in China. Now, there's no confirmation of anything to do with Bandai, and to be honest, even if there was, it's unlikely we would ever get a definitive answer. But as the week developed, it became clear that something was certainly stirring. So a number of folks actually contacted Anime Card Store to ask why Naruto Kayou products had been removed, and the initial response was that they were just tidying up their store on AliExpress. So as the rumours continued to grow and grow throughout the day, someone decided to contact Anime Card Store and ask if there were any truth to said rumours that Naruto Kayou products were going to be restricted from being sold outside of mainland China, to which they responded, the head office believe their rights and interests have been violated. As you can see, the response is in broken English, which is completely understandable, but they also mention they are in communication with the AliExpress platform. So it's also possible Ali themselves have been contacted by Kayou to restrict certain stores. They go on to mention there is a backup link, which I've heard other people mention too, if you still wanted to order from them, but more on orders in just a minute. Because the following day, someone got hold of this letter, which seems to be something sent out by Kayou to its suppliers and does translate as follows, and bear with me here because the translation is not great. To all dealer partners, recently Kayou Animation has continuously received complaints and feedbacks claiming that various overseas sales channels have appeared in various overseas sales channels in the name of our company's authorized dealers and authorized stores. All kinds of Kayou brand IP derivative products. Now, Card Game Animation solemnly declares the products produced and sold by Card Game Animation are genuine cooperative derivatives that have been legally authorized by the copyright owner. The authorized area is limited to mainland China, and any product sales of Card Game brand should strictly follow in the scope listed in the authorization letter. All products sold without authorization are regarded as pirated copies. The behavior of selling products to unauthorized areas without permission disrupts the normal transaction order of the market, damages the legitimate rights and interests of Card Game Animation copyright holders and consumers, violates Card Game Animation and distribution channel contracts. The cooperation requirements of the standard operation have constituted a serious breach of contract. In order to avoid further disputes, see, the translation's always a bit weird, all partners are requested to treat this matter with caution and strictly conduct self-examination and self-correction to the lower level sales links. If you find any unauthorized products, please remove the unauthorized products as soon as possible, disconnect the unauthorized store links, and write in this letter, the rectification shall be completed within 7 natural days from the date of issue. For malicious breaches of merchants and links that have not been rectified within the time limit, once identified, our company will strictly implement the relevant provisions of the sales contract and punish them severely. If the circumstances are serious, they will face legal proceedings and terminate cooperation, and deal with the off-shelf as soon as possible and cut off the supply of overseas sales channels. Integrity-based, jointly maintain knowledge products, abide by the authorized channel specifications, and become a compliant and honest card game authorized distribution business. Thanks for the support. So as you can see, there is definitely some credence here on Kayou products. Yes, I say Kayou products because there's no specific mention of just Naruto on being restricted on sales outside of mainland China. Because you have to understand that licensing is very, very complex. You may be able to produce and sell something globally. Sometimes you're only going to be able to sell it in one country, one region. Sometimes you may be restricted to shipping it to certain countries. In fact, if anyone collects U2s, actually head onto their website now. Check out the Naruto figures. They can only ship those to North, Central, and South America currently due to licensing restrictions. So it's very possible and even probable that Kayou's license with Pierrot Studios probably does restrict sales outside of mainland China. And another rumor I heard are that Kayou are currently in the process of renewing the Naruto license with Pierrot Studio, and that would kind of make sense why we haven't had any new boxes for the last few months. But a couple of people did actually shoot that down, saying that Kayou are simply clearing house, they're simply clearing out the stores to protect their own interests as well as that of Pierrot Studio. So what does this really mean for all us overseas collectors? At this juncture, although it seems to be some truth to the matter, it's far too early to say what is going to happen. Not to mention it was pretty difficult to come by information on these sets in the first place. And now I hate to use this outdated, somewhat offensive term of Chinese whispers, but it's probably the best way I can describe things for now until we hear something more official. Now as it relates to ordering currently on AliExpress, there are still a ton of stores listing Naruto Kayou products, but it's really unsure what will happen if you were to place an order. This is still a fresh developing situation. Now for existing orders, if your shipment has already reached your territory / country, I really don't think you have anything to worry about. You just need to wait for the usual customs clearance and delivery. And if your order hasn't departed China yet, there is a possibility it may be cancelled. I actually haven't heard from anyone of any cancellations just yet, but it is certainly a possibility. So my take on this, first and foremost, we have to wait and see. There's no point panicking right now while the information is fresh and new. We really just have to wait and see how the dust settles. But there are a lot of people with contacts and friends in China who are trying to find out the score, including Bam Collectibles, who actually runs his own Facebook group for Naruto Kayou cards. I have a link to it in the description below. I would highly recommend you go and join this group because he has created a thread where he is discussing this, and I imagine he will release a video on it eventually. Not to mention, you can also find out tons of information in that Facebook group about these awesome Naruto Kayou sets. You can trade, sell, buy, as well as meeting like-minded collectors. At the end of the day, as I say, we will always find a way. That is a triple rhyme there. I'm pretty sure Killer B would be very, very proud. But we have it already, right? You've got reshippers, if you've got friends or colleagues in particular countries, in this case China, as well as third-party sellers. So I'm not talking about the official Kayou suppliers, there are going to be third-party sellers as well. So I don't envisage we're going to have too many problems getting these Naruto Kayou products. It's maybe just the case they're not going to be as easy as they are right now. And I personally like to think that this cracking down is actually on the selling of cases to overseas buyers as opposed to a few boxes here and there to an individual, but we just have to wait and see, guys. So once again, make sure you go and join that Facebook group, links in the description below. There are dudes and dudettes in there who are privy to much more information than me, but I will certainly try and keep things updated here on the channel as the situation develops. If you did have anything useful to add in the comment section below, by all means go ahead. Otherwise, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a few hours for the Heaven and Earth scroll box.